It's the meanest looking face I can make. I've had it. I'm telling you, I've had it. This whole Trump NFL thing this weekend has just finally put me over the edge. You know, I run something called the Encouragement Lab, and what happened this weekend was absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. And I want to talk for a little bit because it's controversial. What I'm going to say is really controversial right now. It's something that not very many people are saying, but I'm going to say it. And here it is. You ready? Man, it just kills me that I have to come on video and say this, but here's what it is. I've had it with both sides. Both sides are being really, really stupid and really, really dumb, and both sides are ensuring that neither side's going to get their way. This is not going to end well for either side. And that's just the truth. That's what's going on, because it's not about the issue anymore. I mean, it's Monday morning, and ask yourself the question, have you heard a single meaningful conversation about race or about disagreement or about politics that is meaningful? No, all we're doing is we're rushing to the internet and finding a bunch of people that are saying a bunch of outrageous things, and we're hearing it and we're going, Or maybe you're one of the hyper-political. You're probably not going to like what I'm going to say if that's true. You're running to your side and you're justifying whichever belief that you believe in. And I'm here to say, and I think there's a lot of people that are going to watch this video that agree with me, that say, you know what, I've had it with both sides. I do a lot of counseling. I've done a lot of counseling, and I do a lot of mediation, and I do a lot of things that require people to get along. And one of the principles, the foundational principles of people figuring out something and moving forward is realizing that as long as it's all about you standing up, I'm standing up for my rights, or I'm standing up for what I believe in. As long as it's about you, you're never going to solve anything. You see, it's real easy to get out of the way of a steamroller. You ever seen those, steamrolling, asphalt pavements? They run over everything, but guess what? They're really slow because they aren't exactly agile and they don't have an ability to adapt and move. And right now, we're at a place in our culture, in our world, where we need adaptable things. Now, take a side. I believe it's really dumb for NFL players to take a knee. I'll say that. I also believe it was really dumb for the president to jump into an issue that was almost dead. People weren't even paying attention to it anymore. And it seems like, over the whole Steph Curry NBA thing, that it became controversial all of a sudden. And now all of a sudden, that's all we're talking about again this weekend. And it's really dumb. It's just dumb. I want to show you something about conflict. It's behind my head here. Look back there in that bookshelf. Do you see those two books? I do this when I do counseling with couples that are fighting. Couples that fight push against each other. Well, you're this and you're that. I've never had anybody come to my office for counseling and one or both of them went, you know what? I just want to love this person regardless of that. That never happens. Instead, it's all about conflict and about people wanting their rights or their way. Well, guess what? Humanity is about being courteous. It's about letting people in front of you. I did a video last week that said we are in a new area. It's the video area, and everything is on TV. Everything is now on video all around. The city of London is entirely wired to video. You can't move in London without being videotaped, and American cities are joining that. So everything you do negatively is beginning to be taped, and so what's happening is we're going to enter an era where people that do nice things get ahead. People that show gratitude are going to get ahead. And I haven't seen a whole lot of gratitude this weekend for anything. And I think that's one of the big mistakes we're making, is we're not grateful for what we have. Instead, we want to complain about what we don't. Guess what? There will always be individuals in this world that will take advantage of people. There will always be some bad cops. But guess what? Most bad cops are not bad. Or not most bad cops. Most cops are good. They aren't bad. So we see one video of one bad cop and we immediately throw them all under the bus. I'm going to kneel on the sidelines because look at all this bad things. The statistics don't hold that out. The statistics prove otherwise. or we're going to elect a president that is going to badmouth and say ugly things about any person and anything that dares say anything against his policy. I'm tired of that. I'm just tired of that kind of behavior. So doesn't matter what politics you're on. I want to show you those books again. So see these books back here? They're leaning against each other. And when you lean against each other like that, that's what conflict requires. Conflict requires two people fighting to push against each other. If you're a wrestler, you know how that clinch, two wrestlers come together, and as long as they're clinching each other, and they're going to hold each other up. Now, this is not wrestling, this is conflict, and this is how to get your way. This is about, ultimately, how to be successful. You know, Martin Luther King, no matter what you like or don't like about him, one of the things that he was great at, and it seems like we've forgotten, is Martin Luther King spent more time convincing his own followers not to do anything controversial, not to do anything that would be perceived as pushing back, to be passive, to let the aggression of, in that case, their enemy, the people that wanted to silence African Americans and put them in jail and do things like that. He realized that the power that was to be had was in to lay down peacefully and say, you know what, I'm going to refuse to take on the aggressiveness that you've done. That is where success lies. So the winner in most arguments is the one that finally says, you know what, I'm not fighting you that way anymore. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to have meaningful conversations about how to solve things and how to do things. And guess what happens? So look back here. When one person says, you know what, I'm not going to push back anymore, I'm going to lay down, what happens to that book? It collapses. The argument collapses on them, and then guess who has the high ground? The people that laid down now have a way to move forward because the path's been cleared, because those that continued to be ugly and attack people, they've been taken out. And so I've had it with this whole fight thing. It's really stupid. It's just stupid that we're doing all this. It's just the dumbest thing that's ever happened. And so you know what? If you've got a conflict in your life, the thing to do is not to bow up and say, oh yeah, guess what? I'm going to do that. Now there's a time to do that, but words are not going to, words of conflict are only going to lead to more words of conflict. It's all about action. The internet now, including Facebook, is all about opinions. But there's not a whole lot of service going on. There's not a whole lot of people saying, how can I go serve you? That's the answer to this. Go do something for somebody. Do something constructive. Get out in the community and do something. Have a conversation with someone and says, you know what? How can we figure this out? How can we fix this? And you'll see that conflict go away. Think about this. We've spent a whole weekend arguing about whether or not some guys should take a knee on the grass during the national anthem. I got a strong opinion about that. I've got a father-in-law that was in the military. I've got a brother-in-law that was in the military. I've got friends who have lost limbs in the military, and every one of them thinks putting a knee on the grass is wrong. So those funny comic memes I've seen saying, oh, that we did that for your favor. I know some people that are like that. Most veterans are offended by people taking a knee in front of the national anthem. I'm one of those. I think it's stupid. But you know what? To me, if I just let people look stupid doing that, over time, they'll stand up when you just ignore them and go, okay, that's dumb. I'm not even going to talk about that. That's the right answer. It's not, let's yell and scream and get people fired. You know what? The American people will fire the NFL by quit watching. That's all. That's going to solve this. Is if we all just quit watching football, that's going to solve that. Not picking a fight. Picking a fight doesn't work. And so I'm upset with both sides. That's controversial right now because it seems like everybody wants us to pick a side. I'm not. I'm laying down. I'm saying, you know what? I love people the way they are. I'm going to love you. I saw a veteran this morning interviewed. He has no legs. His legs are gone. They were blown away when he was trying to defuse a bomb in Iraq. And he said, you know what? I tell these guys I love them. I disagree with them, but I love them. So explain to me why you're doing this. Of course, he said so far he's talked to people, including Colin Kaepernick, and they don't really have a good answer why they're doing it. I think it's anger that's driving it. And guess what? when we meet their anger with anger, guess what? We just get angry too. When President Trump responded the way he responded, it was with anger. It's not with a solution in mind. It's not with, hey, let's figure out how to bring us together. These behaviors don't bring us together. All right, Bill, that's my 2 cents. You can tack me down below if you want. You can share this video if you agree with me. I know there's a lot of silent, you people that agree with me out there, you're the least likely to hit the share button because you're afraid of what your friends might say. It's okay. It's okay. It's time to take a stand and say, you know what? There's a lot of us that say we're sick of the conflict. We want to find solutions. I'm tired of asking. By the way, this is a good thing for discernment. If you want to figure out where people stand, ask yourself the question, whose team are they on? Now, I know I'm not saying what football team. I'm just saying, are they for the country? Are they for their neighbors? Are they for themselves? Are they for a political party? I see a lot of behavior anymore that's not what can I do for America, it's what can I do for my political party. Until we all stand up and say, you know what, we've had it. A pox on both of your houses. If you're going to complain, I'm going to choose to ignore you. I'm going to look for solutions. I'm going to be an encourager. Even when those around me are discouraged or being ugly, I'm going to find ways to say, you know what, I don't agree with you, but you know what, I want to hear you. I want to listen to you. Other than that, it's not really hurting you. A lot of things aren't hurting you. I think the big hero in all this is Villanueva, the Pittsburgh Steeler player. 3 tours in Iraq. Only Pittsburgh Steeler that came out to the national anthem. He's the hero in this, and guess what? He hadn't said much. He just said with his feet and with his hand over his heart. He didn't say, I agree with the president or I disagree with my players. He just said, you know what? This is who I am. Be that person. By the way, you know what we call those kind of people? We call them leaders. Leaders get things done. They don't lay blame. They don't become victims. Leaders say, you know what? I'm going to take action to fix this. One of the most meaningful conversations I've been having is with actually, he's my best friend here where I live in Tucson. He's African American. And one of the things I love about talking with him is that we sit around and go, okay, what are we going to do to make it better? Not, well, I think this or I think that. That only leads to bitter feelings. But when you start saying, what am I going to do to make this better? You make a difference. And by the way, the place to start is encouragement. How do you encourage people? Yesterday during all this controversy on Sunday, we also had a shooting at a church in Tennessee. It's funny how taking a knee on the grass, putting a grass stain on your knee, or tweeting out some mean words have taken over the conversation of our country when we had people shot at a church in Nashville, and that isn't breaking our heart. That isn't bringing us together to say, dear God, what are we doing that's causing this to happen? That's what we ought to be focusing on, and that's what will move us forward. Putting a knee on the grass, tweeting out ugly tweets, not happening. Take care. Thanks for listening in. I'll be back on Wednesday and give you something more encouraging, but today I just had to let it go. See ya. Thanks for joining me. Hit the like and share button if you like it. Tell me what you think, and I really appreciate you tuning in. Take care.